It's so interesting to talk with our physical friends because we love you very much, have such a warped view of reality. It's so warped. It's like you have a big house and every room is beautifully furnished and immaculately tended to and technologically brilliant. It's just this fabulous house with this incredible view, surrounded by the most beautiful plants, and you have decided to live in the closet with the vacuum. And sometimes other people come to visit you and they look around your house and they say, "Oh, wow. Oh, I would give anything to live here." And you'd say, "Why?" Why? Because without meaning to, you have practiced yourself into viewpoints that are depriving you of the fullness of all that you are. And we want you to come out into the rest of your house. We want you to come out into your world. We want you to find a way a little more every day to allow your full view of not just what is, but what is becoming. Because what is changing in relationship to what your viewpoint is, you see. Everything is perceptual. So if you are sick, it's a perceptual thing. And often you will say, no. It's proven by the tests, by the facts. There are a lot of people who are confirming this sickness or confirming this bankruptcy or confirming where I stand. And we say, all that is happening is that you are perceiving fragments of that which you really are because you are practiced at not allowing the fullness of who you are to manifest. So when we talk about manifestation, what we're really talking about is your perception of what's around you, your perception of your body, your perception of your world, your perception of your economy. That's the big one these days. So many people perceiving based upon what other people are perceiving. That's like saying, well, my mother lived in the closet and her mother lived in the closet, and I thought we were just supposed to live in the closet. And I know it's not rational when I listen to you, Abraham. I know that I could just open the door and come out, but it's not easy to open the door and come out when I've been in here for so long. Now this analogy is strong. You laughed at it at first. Now it's starting to depress you. But the reason that we offer analogies is because we want to get your attention. We would like you to leave here today saying to yourself, I want full view. I want full view, which means I want to be moment by moment, day by day, up to speed with how the source within me is viewing life. And what we mean by that is you are so much more than these physical bodies. You are so much more than this physical beingness that you sometimes or even often perceive. You have source within you. You are more vibration than you are anything else. So we would like to convince you that this is a vibrational world. It's a vibrational world that is changing constantly and has already changed in ways that please you, that you are depriving yourself of seeing because you haven't come out of the closet yet. You're still hiding from the real reality as you are scrutinizing the limited reality. And when you realize that there is a bigger reality, we want to coax you over here into this vibrational reality, this vortex of creation. We want to coax you over often enough, speaking to you in reasonable terms until we elicit from you a vibrational resonance that then gives you full view. Sometimes in your human vocabulary you say, oh, then I saw the light. Then I saw the light. And we say, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered that all is well. Then I remembered why I'm here. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered all is well. Then I remembered who I am. Then I remembered how it feels. Then I remembered. And it's a visceral memory. It's a lighthearted memory. It's a all is well memory. It's everything is good memory. It's that it doesn't matter what appears to be through my screwy, limited, self-inflicted interpretation of manifestation. We want you to hear us and believe us when we say there are manifestations in your vortex that if you will hope for them and believe for them and eventually come to know them, they will manifest in full view for you. Have you ever had an experience of sharing the planet with others who don't see it the way you do? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever been in a particular place in time where you were laughing and someone else was crying and you were standing in the same space? Have you ever noticed that perception is about what's happening to you individually, not about what's happening to you collectively? But if you are able to drum up enough attention to the collective from CNN does a good job of it and so forth, that the individual perspective is then skewed by the larger perspective, then you begin feeling much the same way, and then you begin having more and more of the same experiences. That's really what economic tides are about. People often think, those that accept that there is something beyond this, and how could anyone not accept that there is something beyond this? You're good, but you're not that good. You've not managed to scrape enough dirt together and launch it into orbit to create another planet. In other words, you're good, but you've just got to look around and acknowledge that there's something really big going on of which you are a part. And that larger part of you remains non-physically focused. But while that larger part of you remains non-physically focused, you have full access to it here and now, out here on this leading edge of creation. And we want you to hear the specifically chosen run of those words. Out here where you are on this leading edge creation, on this leading edge creation. So if you accept that source energy exists, and you just sort of got to, because here you all are, as you acknowledge that this source energy exists, don't work so hard to be good so that you can return to the heaven that you think is where source energy is. Instead, figure out how to achieve a vibration right here and now in your powerful now, so that you allow your full revelation or your full recognition of that source energy right here, out here on the leading edge where it has always been focused. How you ever got the idea that God, or whatever you want to call that non-physical beingness, is sitting somewhere apart from you, waiting for you to figure stuff out so that you can rejoin it, is truly the byproduct of man's disconnecting himself completely from the picture, from the creative picture of how it all fits together. You are source energy in these physical bodies. You cannot disconnect yourself from that source energy. But you can choose lackful thought about yourself, about others, about your government. You can choose worrisome thoughts about yourself, about others, about your government. You can choose thoughts that don't feel good about just about anything. And in the doing so, you deprive yourself of your awareness of source who is flowing through you, whether you know source is flowing through you or not. In a moment of brilliance, you say, wonder where that came from. And we say, we don't want you to wonder anymore. It came from your alignment. When you are tuned in, tapped in, turned on, you're tuned in to the frequency of all that you are, you see. And after you taste that a little bit, anything less than that is not only just not okay, it's really, really not okay. You can't feel the deliciousness of alignment and then find some petty, unimportant thing to use as your reason to choose a vibrational frequency that's different than the frequency of source, and deprive yourself of source energy without knowing that something has gone really, really wrong. And it isn't permanently wrong, it's just temporarily wrong in the sense that it's not as right as it could be, or as you want it to be, or really, we'll go as far as saying as it should be, because you are meant to feel good. You are meant to be brilliant. You are meant to be tuned into the high frequency of who you really are. You intended when you came into these physical bodies to explore variety. Yes, you did. And you never asked for a feathered nest. Not one of you said, I'll go forth, but please make sure everything's just the way I would like it to be, so all I have to do is just observe my environment. Because all of you knew that you wanted variety to help you to focus your improvements into place, because you are a creator, you see. You know how you don't like it when somebody else bosses you around all the time? You don't like it because you came to explore and to come to your conclusions, because you know you have the resources of all that is backing you up to flesh it out and fill it in for your surprise and delight and satisfaction, for the details of all that you are. You knew that that was what creation is about. You didn't come to fix things that are broken. You came to create things that are new. You came to explore and discover new combinations with new juxtapositions of new experiences. You intended to give birth to desires because you are an eternal creator, and eternity and evolution and continual evolution of desire is all the same thing. You can't be eternal and stand still. And so you were born into the most extraordinary, diverse environment where new desire would be, you knew it for sure, would be inspired within you. And when that inspiration occurs, it radiates vibrationally like rockets of desire. And as that radiated desire moves forward, it becomes an actual creation. The book we wrote, entitled Ask and It Is Given, speaks to that exactly. Because when contrast causes you to ask, it becomes an immediate manifestation. But as humans, you don't want to call those emotions manifestations. You don't want the idea of the new car, or the idea of the improved body, or the idea of the lovely relationship. You don't want, for the most part, the idea to be called the manifestation. You want the car in the garage and the lover in the bed and the improvement in the body. In other words, you want proof. You want others to be able to see it. But if you can accept that the idea is the manifestation, and you can revel in the fact that you are consciousness exploring variety, and that out of that variety is born desire, and that desire matters more than everything else put together, because that desire is the expansion of the universe. If you can accept that as your creation and relax into the knowing that you have done what you came to do, in the absence of resistance, it is our promise to you that the specifics of that desire will fill in around you in the most delightful dance with all of the others that you play with on your planet, as you together continue to move forward in this never-ending expansion that we are all about. Our strongest desire is that you accept that that which you call source energy, or that which you call God, is doing the creating that you've all been reveling in or revering right here through you in this time-space reality. That when you have that moment of delight in a new idea, that is you and Source together reveling in the eternal expansion of this universe. And it's worth celebrating right then and there. And that's what that elation that you feel is. That's that celebration that you and Source are having together, you see. And when you feel afraid, when you feel fearful, when you feel angry, when you have those negative emotions, it doesn't mean that Source is feeling those. It means that you're feeling something so bogus, so apart from the way the Source energy feels within you, that it has to equal the opposite compensation. In other words, who you really are feels so good. When you pinch yourself off from it, isn't it logical that you would feel really bad? So as you begin to understand that your emotions have always been your guidance system to let you know one thing and one thing only. How am I in my physical body right out here on the leading edge resonating with the source of all that I am? Is there full resonation, or am I off the beam in some way? So now you know everything we know. Now you know everything that is important to you. Now you know that when you feel fear, all it means is Source doesn't agree with you. And Source is right here present with you, always in this leading edge moment. You are never by yourself. You are never without the full resources of all that you are. You cannot sever yourself from that. You cannot. You cannot sever yourself from the resources of Source. But you can deprive yourself of the feeling of Source if you activate a vibration that doesn't allow you the translation of it. Does that make sense to you? And doesn't negative emotion every single time, doesn't it have an empty quality to it? Doesn't fear feel like empty? Doesn't anger feel like empty? Doesn't it feel like it really is? You've sort of emptied yourself.